change. I don't know what to make of it, because now in that clip that I just played, he's like joking around. He's making cracks about, Rocky's umpteenth time. And it's like, wait a second. You just let out this really serious, sort of heartfelt message, and now you're coming back all smiles and joking around. Now I'm wondering if he's going to appear on a summer tour. I really am. It's a little strange. Some people are saying, he needs the money, but how much money do you think he could possibly make over a handful of these shows? What do you think he's going to make? A lifetime supply of cash? I mean, it's a house of blues, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, some people were saying that it's a money grab. Well, of course it's a money grab. But yeah, again, how much money is he really going to be making from all this?
Well, that's what I mean. It's like, what do you think he's going to walk away with $10 million? That's not the case. And, let's be honest, Dave has money. He's not some guy who doesn't have cash. Remember, he is a part owner of some of those songs, those Van Halen songs that have made money over the years. Just Jump alone. I can only imagine the checks he must get from Jump just alone. So, I mean, I can't imagine, that he's in the poorhouse or anything like that.
Right. I don't know. I gave up trying to figure him out a long time ago.
I know. Well, you can't figure him out even more now, because Dave has now really gone off the cliff, now trying to announce his partial creative ownership of Eddie's stripes, his red, white, and black pattern that Ed has trademarked his stripes, with his white stripes and the black stripes with the red background, whatever you want to call it, the EVH pattern, let's call it. That is Eddie's thing. It's almost like the Stones logo or something. That's the Eddie Van Halen brand, and he owns that pattern. It's legally, his, even though he's no longer alive, his estate. So Dave is now claiming that he had something to do with this. Listen to this clip.
We've been getting a lot of cards and letters, digitally, so to speak, in regards to there are similarities between my work and the stripes on Eddie's guitar, and that's because it's my work. Alex Van Halen and I speak on the phone frequently now, and we laugh like pirates. And we were laughing not long ago on the phone about, and Alex was there, when I walked in with 3 rolls of tape. 1 roll of gray duct tape, 1 roll of black, not very sticky, and the fucking thing kept coming off electrician's tape, and 1 roll of blue art tape like we use for pinstriping. I still use that today for, whenever you put something on the painting or whatever. I've been walking around with a paintbrush in my back pocket. Mom saw to that since I was 5 years old. That's what you do when Dad is a student for the first 10 years. And Ed's experience was he was walking around with a guitar pick in his pocket. It was a great moment. It was one of those epic moments. Guys, I thought of 4 notes. I call it da-da-da-da. Well, in Beethoven's day, that was a big move. Beethoven had 1 hit, da-da-da-da, and I don't even have to sing it, da-da-da-da. Right, sing me the other Beethoven hit, wise guy. Tom, you're musical. Can you sing me the second Beethoven hit?
Not off the top of my head, no.
But it's in Clockwork Orange.
Right.
You feel like you're in Clockwork Orange.
Right.
Okay.
Typically.
Then we're doing our job. I said to Al, because this was like mid-70s, 75, 76, I said to Ed, an expanding linear pattern, because the white plain guitar is eerily reminiscent, baby, of Jimi Hendrix straight ahead over yonder. And at that point in time. Well, that was actually the Chambers brothers, okay? At that time, Hendrix was still very nearby, having recently departed. The plain white Strat, a little bit reminiscent of Mundo. Sorry, I slipped into Espanol, but I think you got it. At that point, I said, an expanding linear pattern. What is that? We laid it down, and kaboom. Within like 4 minutes, I laid it out, including the little squiggle. What that's from is the tape, the non-sticky, shiny black electrician's tape that's designed to be putting on and taken off very quickly. Would pull, because we were playing 5 sets at night, and it get all sweaty and not ready, and it'd contract. Much to their credit later, and I haven't even looked at the guitar in years, and I haven't done research. This isn't a science lesson. This is just my memory. And my memory is great, Tom. It's just short. You know that. Supercolinator! Are you here? Are you with me so far? You know this guitar. You yourself play guitar, right? Okay. I laid it out in like 5-10 minutes, and the tape instantly pulled. It made the squiggle. Later on, okay, we'll spray paint it and pull the tape like pinstriping a lowrider, part of our cultura, okay? And you get what we'll call a halftone version of it. That's what I call it, or Mom would call it. And it's what a negative is to a regular photograph. And so essentially, I say with a great big sense of humor, I invented coffee, they invented a cup. Later, they added colors to it gloriously, and we were playing in San Bernardino, and there's a famous truck stop out there. And I came back with one of those little bubble convex mirrors and a couple little red reflectors and said, cherry on top. Bingo, Ringo. Whether or not the Beatles actually said that, we like to think they did. And I said it right now. And Eddie, drilled the holes and put it in there, and see it at the Smithsonian. Alex and I were laughing like pirates. I was laughing at how quickly it all happened, and Alex was laughing at how much I got paid. Subsequent guitars, once they started painting and pulling the tape, I would come to Eddie's parents' house. Let's define that very, very carefully, which is like the house I lived in Altadena, is now the size of our 1/3 of the garage area, we call it. It's not even a room. And in the garage area from which we all come, all right, would be hanging a really thick wooden version of the guitar, spray painted with the tape getting ready to pull. Then they just started using only the pullable blue art tape. And they gave each version of it, Rudy Laren, our guitar tech at the time, gave each version a name. And the very first name, I don't recollect, it may well have been Frankenstein, and, they developed an industry. Eddie was way better at business than I have ever been. They started an industry. It's not just a franchise. It's a way of thinking guitar. It's one of the most recognizable symbols of all time in the sport in this regard here. It's on everything from electric toothbrushes to shoelaces. I'm sure in the Iraqi conflict, somebody dropped a bomb with that design on it, or painted it on their helmet, or somebody threw a handkerchief with that design on it when we buried some of our friends and comrades.
So the guitar was originally white?
Yeah, and we put tape on it, okay, and then ultimately reflectors, whatever. The tape instantly started pulling and coming off because we were playing 5 45-minute sets a night. We called it the College of Musical Knowledge. That's, sweaty ready, the Cavern Club, the ceilings are dripping. Is it the heat, the humidity, or that hot blonde beach bunny? It's a combination, Tom. We realize that now. And make your tape curl. Just like the toes inside your cowboy boot. You look forward to both experiences. Unorthodox, but not at all unpleasant. Got used to it instantly, like my last dog, Russell. Why did 4 people invent the telephone on 4 different continents at the same time without knowing each other? Because it had to be invented. I invented soup. These homeboys invented the spatula. And that's poetry. For somebody somewhere said, wouldn't it be easier, ... which is Latin for spray paint the motherfucker and pull the tape. I hate to simplify genius. And that design wouldn't have gone anywhere without Eddie sending it.
Right.
And giving it the shape and shine that it did. I'm just proud to have been part of it. The first part.
So Dave has been posting on social media paintings of his, one called Big Wave, and another one where he actually puts up his painting, and then he takes a picture of Ed's guitar and puts it in the corner, and writes the headline, Separated at Birth. Now, I have to be honest with you, as much as I like Dave's paintings, and they're very interesting, he does a great job painting, he's very artistic, I don't see the similarities here. I mean, no, listen, Eddie nor Dave created stripes. I mean, stripes exist. However, Eddie had a certain pattern and certain colors and a certain mix and a certain blend that created the EVH pattern. I don't quite understand what he's talking about. I mean, I know he was talking about the tape and all this stuff in his comments. And, remember Chris Gill, Dave, the co-author of Eruption?
Right.
Conversations with Eddie Van Halen? Yeah. Well, if you remember...
He quickly took a deep dive and started ripping his story to shreds.
Absolutely, but you know why? Chris is the guy who knows more about this lineage than probably Ed or freaking Dave, to be honest with you, because
that's true.
Chris, in the book, Eruption, Conversations with Eddie Van Halen, who was written by Brad Talinsky and Chris Gill, but this particular part of the book, Chris has a special section that he talks about the lineage of Eddie's guitars, and he has painstakingly gone through the details of each breakdown. That's why I said this book is one of the all-time best Van Halen books. It is out there. It's hands down the all-time best Eddie Van Halen book. It is so detailed. You got to get it. Anybody who listens to this podcast is required reading. You got to get it. Eruption, Conversations with Eddie Van Halen. In between the chapters, there's these little segments. They're almost like sidebars that Chris did on Eddie's guitars. Not just that one, his other ones too. But the Frankenstein, he really went out of his way. He really went out of his way, and he kind of debunked Roth's theory. This is from Chris. There are 3 key factual errors in Roth's statement proving that his story is completely revisionist fabrication. He pointed out that accurately dated photographic evidence shows that Eddie Van Halen's Frankenstein guitar did not appear until February 77, first with an unfinished body, then with an all-black finish, which is first photographed in late May of 77, and it could possibly be earlier, then the famous black and white stripe finish in July of 77. Eddie did not have the Frankenstein in 1975 or 76, as Roth stated, although he did use the 1961 Stratocaster in 76, which he painted white in early 77. He said specifically January. Secondly, he said the white Stratocaster that Roth mentions was not the foundation of the Frankenstein. It is very well documented that Ed created the black and white finish by placing stripes of masking tape on the black finished Frankenstein body, then spraying coats of white paint on the exposed portions and subsequently removing the tape, leaving behind black stripes. Roth gets this essential detail completely wrong. And then he said the blue tape that Roth referred to, the 3M blue painter's tape, was not even invented until 1988. Roth was already out of Van Halen for 3 years by that time. Because it didn't even exist yet, there is no way Eddie could have used 3M blue tape, neither in the summer of 77 when he first painted the black and white stripes motif, nor in March of 79 when he added the red coats of paint to the Frankenstein finish. In fact, Ed used torn strips of gaffer tape when applying the red coat. A piece of that gaffer tape still remains on that guitar. And Roth mentioned at one point that he hasn't looked at the guitar in years and he hasn't done his research. So listen, Chris has done his research. He has gone out of his way to do his research. I would trust Chris's memory on this more than if Eddie was alive. Not that Eddie is not sharp enough or anything. It's just Eddie never paid attention to when certain he just does what he did because that's what he wanted to do at the moment. He just never really took stock of dates and times and things like that. But please, Dave, come on, man. I mean, and also Eddie is dead and his brand owns that pattern, and what are you doing?
Right.
It's like, what are you doing?
I mean, here's the thing. This has never come up before.
Ever.
From anybody. Not from Ed, not from Dave, not from nobody.
No one.
And even if it's true, it just seems
petty.
Wrong. Petty.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's an even better word.
Yeah.
It just seems petty to be bringing it up now. It's like he's the kid in the back of the classroom screaming for attention because he's not getting called on. Now, I will say, I originally thought when this came out, I thought people were going to be up in arms. How dare Dave take credit for this? It was always Eddie's idea. I thought people were going to grab pitchfork and torches, right? And go to Pasadena to Dave's house. Right? But there were a lot of people who said, that's not outside the realm of possibility, because Dave was always the showman of the group. So it's really not that far-fetched for him to say to Ed, hey,